Hello viewers, here we have a Duracraft DT-7 fan in a Chill Outs GF-55 fan. I got this one earlier in the week for real cheap. It's pretty dirty, it's kind of banged up. Nothing that makes it unusable by any means. Good cleaning and lubrication would get this back to life without a problem. But I figured I'd rather take the bearings out of there and put them in this fan and bring this one back to life rather than spend the time repairing something that's still on the market and has really no collectible value yet, and let this collectible unit sit on the shelf waiting parts. So, with that being said, this isn't necessarily going to go to waste. I bought this motor a while ago thinking that it was, I don't know how to measure, so I thought these bearings were going to be the right size for that fan. They're not. So what I'm going to try to do is somehow retrofit this motor into this fan. But we'll do that another time. So for now, let's get this one open and get the motor out. Now I'm noticing there's a stinking security bit in there. So here we go with that again. Let's see if this one, interestingly enough, does not have any security bits. Okay, so we got both fans open. The rear bearing is still good, at least for now. And interestingly enough, it has an oil port, or at least it's what it can be used for. I just checked, the shaft sizes are the same, so this new bearing should work. There's a couple of anomalies here that we're going to have to deal with. Oh no, wait a minute. What the heck is this bearing from? Both of the bearings are broken in this. Oh, you know what this is from? This is from one of those box fans. Well, we're not going to use that. I would just replace the whole motor, but I don't think they're the same. This is a 35 watt, and this one, I'm sure it's more than that. This one is a 0.74 amp, so that's definitely a lot more powerful. So I don't think just changing the bearings changing the whole motors is a good answer. We want to actually replace the whole, or just the bearings. We want the original motor to still be in there. So that's that. I'm not entirely sure how that switch comes out of there, but it needs to start coming out of there because this thing needs to be cleaned. I'll experiment with the switch on the new one. This way if it breaks it's not a big deal. And get this motor apart, get those bearings, and then we'll put the thing together. Actually, we got to clean everything first too. Alright, that would not come off without a fight, but it eventually came off. So, here's the two bearings that we're going to use. And we have one other... Where did that come from? There's one other thing we have to deal with here, and that is the removal of the remains of the old bearings. That could be interesting, not in a good way. Okay, we just took a short break to clean everything up because having all those metal shards there, nothing good was going to come out of that. So at this point what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean this. And we're going to get this ready to put the new bearings on. We're going to brush off the old motor. I should have done that before I cleaned the table. And we're going to clean the shaft, and we're going to clean out these bearings, and then we're going to have to lubricate them again. And I've removed one of these stupid things from there. That's going to go right into the scrap metal bin, because those things are of no use to me. Okay, now it's time to evaluate the motor here. Oh geez, the cord is really not in good condition. Good grief. Okay, so it's not too dirty. I think we're just gonna brush some of this off here. I'll have to clean the table again later. Okay, that's good enough for that. Now let's get the bearings cleaned up. There's a fair bit of dirt coming out of these bearings. Somewhat surprising considering this fan is not that old. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. Oh, we're not. This is not open on both sides. Wait a minute, what bearing are we talking about here? That's different. Well, this one, same thing. This is not open on the other side. Well, this will be a little less clean than the other one. Just kind of do this and hope for the best. Looks pretty clean. Alright, well, let's clean the shaft. Okay. And the bushings are not on there. Hopefully I saved them in here. If not, so we can just pull the ones from the other shaft. I don't see them in there. So that's fine. I'll just take the ones from this motor. because these aren't going to be used anyways. Okay, so we got these for the front. Let's just clean these off before putting them back in. And actually, you can see this one. This is kind of interesting. You can see the wear on this one. Hopefully this is going to focus. Come on, unblur. Okay, good. You can see the wear from where the right there where the what's that, or this part of the motor was wearing up against that. So at some point these are going to have to be replaced, but it'll work for now, unless of course this one, no, so they look a little different, but I think they would take the same bushings. Okay, and let's get the ones from the rear. This has got just 2 cloth washers. Which would make sense because the majority of the force is going to be on the front, given the way this fan is designed. Alright, so we're ready to begin reassembly. Now this may or may not be an issue. It is going to be an issue. I have to actually drill out, I guess, that part of the things, because this has to go in there and it's not going to go, doesn't fit with the remnants of that in there, so got to do that now. Alright, that's out. I got a little wiser this time, and I collected all the dangerous shavings. Okay, so now I think we can put this in place. Yep. And here is my favorite part of the production. We're going to get the oil out, and we're going to use the blue can, which is for fans. And you'll notice on the other oil, it has nothing about fans on here. It has a bicycle, a circular saw, a shoe with wheels on it, hedge trimmers, and a wrench. I don't know why in the world you put oil on a wrench, but that's what this one is for. This one is for power saws, fans, lawnmowers, and shop tools. So we're going to use this oil. Jeez. I'm going to put a decent amount in the rear bearing because this is not serviceable unless you strip the motor apart, which I don't really want to do regularly. And now this is going to be difficult to get into place because there is an air resistance issue, because this is all enclosed, so when you put this in here you have to compress the air that's in there. And why is the oil leaking out on the other side? That's not a good sign. Okay, well, we're just going to ignore the fact that that just transpired. And this, well, has a satisfactory spin down time, but it's not great. There we go. Oh, it wasn't great because it was resting on those washers, those felt washers. Alright, I want to put this into the motor. now we're going to put more oil, the oil that's for fans, on the shaft. I'm going to put it all the way because it's got to slide on all the way. We want it lubricated and not scraping up against anything. Oh jeez, the bearing doesn't want to go on, and I'm not going to hit it hard because last time that was a whole freak show in of itself. Well, I believe what transpired here is, now I got to waste some of the fan oil. I got to shave down the shaft because there's little nicks on here. I don't know how I managed to get the other one off, but well, maybe it just disintegrated. I didn't have to slide it off. Well, anyways, I gotta file this down because there's some nicks on there that will prevent the bearing from going on. Okay, it's gonna fit on now. I'm gonna put some more fan oil on the bag. Actually, I probably should have done this initially because I want to get oil on those cloth washers there. Okay, that should be it. Unless some other unnecessary, annoying complication decides to arrive, it should be straightforward from here out. So let's begin the reassembly process now. We'll go quick through this part because it's not that exciting. Here's the components that were washed. I didn't notice this when it was all dusty, but I'm looking at this closer now that it's cleaned, and I don't know what in the world transpired here. I can't fathom that that's damage from when the blade flew off or whatever. It's got to be some kind of a manufacturing defect. There's some real big chunks missing out of this. Like look at that one right there. And on this part of the fan, which is still got a little bit of water in there, you can see all the marks on the side there. I don't know what that's about. I mean, it's all inside, you won't see it, so who really cares, but certainly an anomaly. Okay, so actually we're going to put that aside for the moment. I gotta go throw this out because I'm going to spill this at some point. Okay, potential disaster diverted. Actually, just put that away now. Okay. So now it's time to mount everything back into the front guard. A little speck of dust on there still. Let's get that off. And the switch here, the trick to removing the wires out of these switches, you take a paper clip or some other kind of object like it, and you stick that in, and it releases the piece that holds the wire locked in there. It's real easy and it doesn't damage the switch at all. Of course, of all the paper clips I grabbed, this one has some weird design to it where it's got stinking slits in it, so it kind of catches a little bit. But if you had a smooth edged one, which I should probably get to have at the bench here, it would come out a little bit easier. And this one, I had difficulty with this one before. I don't know what's going on here. just because the wire is so thick. Alright. So we got to feed the wires through here. This wire goes through there, and then these two wires go in here. I don't know what that hole is for, because there's only 4 wires, so odd. Anyways, interestingly enough, this looks like it's a... Oh, I see what they're doing. It's a 3-position switch, and they just leave one open for off. And you can see the wires are going in and staying in, and the switch is not damaged at all. I don't really like these kind of switches because you don't crimp the wire at the right length. It kind of sticks out a little too far, and then it could be dangerous, but it is what it is. Oh, wait a minute. Did I jack this up? The switch has got to sit like that. What did I do wrong here? I guess that's alright. I don't see how else it would go, unless... Oh, I see how it goes. I did jack it up. Daggone it. This is why you always take pictures and such when you take something apart. And I always, have the video record, but the problem is I never look at it. Okay, so, actually, there's some water in there. That screw hole. Let's get that out of there. Alright, so the switch has to sit like this, and that's going to be low and high. So let's try this again. I'm going to feed this wire through this part. And we're going to feed this wire into here. And I'll feed this wire into there. I think that'll work. I'm going to go in here because it seems like it's... No, it was definitely in here. I think. I don't know. We're doing it this way. Oh my gosh. What the heck? I hope that got on video. The zoom spout oil, which is also something you can use on fans, just came flying in the thing here for no reason. Okay. So I think this is how we want to have it. Yeah, that'll work. And then of course this just goes on here like so. Alright, now we gotta finagle the wiring into place here. It's not in one bit wanting to cooperate, so that's great. Put this in first, perhaps. This is not going to be easy. I had a fun time getting this out, too. This channel is awfully tight for the wire. That tab came off. Alright, we have to glue that back on. Alright, let's get this glue gun crunk up here and then we'll finish putting the motor together on there, and then we'll glue that after it warms up. Good, it warms up pretty quickly. Alright, so that aside, why is this having such a hard time fitting into place? I know it was about right there, so this has got to go somewhere else. This is getting a lot out of hand here. Maybe I'll have to put that down like that instead. No, because it ain't going to fit under the winding. It's got to come all the way up to the top, maybe. Nope, it's not going to fit like that either. Alright, this is getting out of hand. I don't understand how anybody thinks that's a good way to do this, but whatever, it's in place. And I got the strain relief there, about to glue on the other piece. Actually, I think the glue machine is warm now. And this is probably unnecessary, but you know, if this wire was to come loose, it would directly interfere with the blades. And that's just not a good situation to have. Now admittedly, I kind of get worried about this one because there's nothing really holding this on, especially because the force of the blade is this way. I don't know. I may have to put that stupid thing back on there. I can't believe I'm actually going to do this, but I'm going to put this pile of baloney back on. Alright, that's not going to come off now. Still not happy with the way that's not going down all the way though. Now It's going to have to be good enough. Alright. Let's give it a quick test just to make sure the speeds are lined up and everything. Oh, it doesn't even work. What happened? Oh man. Just when I thought this was going to be easy. Now I don't know. You know what? It's possible that this motor has had a thermal failure, because if they tried to run it with the bearings like that, you know, with the bearings practically missing, probably just burned out. Well, I happen to have 2 thermal fuses on hand if I need them, and we'll go that route if we have to. Let's get the meter out and do some checking.